Hey there, welcome to day 20 of our free Get Up and Go challenge. We are discussing the SOAP framework with respect to our relationships today. And we are talking about the R, relationships, and the O in the SOAP framework. And that means we have picked a relationship. Yesterday we picked a relationship. We talked it through with our imaginary friend, our past, present, and our desired future, what our current situation is, what we want our situation to be, with one particular relationship in our life. Now, I picked my mom, and she doesn't know it, but I have not used my mom as a relationship. She's my only remaining living parent, and my grandparents have all passed away, and my dad passed away about 6-7 years ago now. And so I'm like, I need to think about my relationship with my mom. She's 84 years old. She's going to be around, I hope, as long as my grandma, so for another 15 years or 20 years, but I want to make sure that I make the most of that relationship. So how do I go about doing that? What are my options for improving and continually improving my relationship with my mom? And your relationship with whomever. Like I said, I've done all kinds of different relationships. You know, it's been from my ex to enemies to haters to my sisters, my siblings. I only have sisters, my siblings. To myself. I've done myself. I've done all different types of relationships. So today, our tool for getting at the options and the infinite possibilities with respect to improving this relationship. I'm assuming we all want to improve a relationship, right? You might want to end a relationship, but that's an improvement for you. So when I say improve, I mean we want to make our relationships better. We need to forgive the past, right? And not forget about it, but forgive the past. We need to pay attention to what's going on in the present moment and be really true and honest and realistic with ourselves, which is why we discussed it with our imaginary friend, not anyone else who might judge it. And then we want to pre-frame and plan for our future to create the desired situation, the desired relationship that we want. Our tool for this is visualization and using our imagination. To pre-frame or to plan something means we practice it in our mind. We practice it in our imagination. Now, I don't know about you, but when I first started visualizing and heard about visualization, I stunk at it. I didn't think that I could visualize anything. Somebody would say, visualize a dolphin. And of course, we all have the ability to visualize and imagine things. We actually think in pictures. Our brains automatically think in pictures. So if somebody says, think of a dolphin, or try not to think of a dolphin, what are you going to think of? You're going to think of a dolphin, right? Somebody says, think of a cow, or don't think of a cow, you're going to think of a cow, some kind of a cow timer, a real cow, a cow running through a field, whatever is your image of a cow. So we all have the ability to do it, but a lot of times we judge and we think that we don't. So I'm going to share 7 tips, 5, 6, 7 tips on visualization for beginners, but our reason for visualizing is we want to brainstorm a list of at least 10 possible options that we could do to improve the relationship that we're working on. I'm going to do 10. I'll probably do 20, but I say at least 10 to come up with ideas of how to change, enhance, make better for you and the other person, hopefully, unless you're eliminating a relationship like I was with my ex. We want to have options. We want to make sure that we're identifying those options. And then our action item is going to be to share 3 of those options. If you're noticing there's a pattern here, get a list, a big list of options. Share 3, and then we're going to analyze the 3 tomorrow as part of our action with respect to relationships. So what are these tips for beginners when it comes to visualization? Number 1, try not to overthink it. Again, if somebody says magnifying glass, your brain automatically creates a picture of a magnifying glass in your head. It might be a magnifying glass like the ones I use. It might be the giant magnifying glass from the Santa Claus movies. It might be the magnifying glasses that you see at the optometrist if you've ever been to the eye doctor, etc. But we all have the ability to do it, so don't overthink it. Don't try too hard. Number 2, use all of your senses. Whenever we visualize, just like we learned earlier in the challenge in Power Vision movie, we want to use our sight, our sound, our smell, our taste, our feeling, our intuition. We want to use all of our senses in our visualizations. We want to, and that means we're bringing in our imagination in all these areas, right? We want to, number 3, make sure that we are relaxed. Cutting ourselves some slack. not in a stressful situation where we're trying to visualize. That doesn't work. We have to have a quiet place, a quiet time where we can do our visualizations. And that leads us to our next one, which is number 4, have a regular visualization practice. If you want to get good at something, you work on it a teeny little bit every single day. So say for a minute a day or 5 minutes a day for the next 7 days, you are going to practice visualizing. You're going to pick a time, and it works best if you do it the same time every day. At least for me, that's how habits form most appropriately, is if I pick first thing in the morning or right before I go to bed, I'm going to visualize for 5 minutes right before I go to sleep, improving my relationship with my mom or whatever else you want. Number 5, connect with all your emotions as you're visualizing. Remember, our emotions are as important to connect with as our different senses are when we're visualizing and imagining something. Visualize with a sense of knowing. Know that you have got the ability to visualize, and that you will get better and better and better and better at it, and your visions will, and your visualizations and imagery will become much more clear as you practice it. Just like anything else, the more we practice something, the better we get at it. The better we get at it, before we know it, we're mastering it. And finally, number 7, get distracted. Let yourself be distracted. Don't judge your visualization. Don't try too hard at it, and definitely don't criticize yourself and be like me and say, "Oh, I can't visualize. I don't have an imagination." We all do. We're born with it. It just gets beat out of us in the school system and throughout our education and our jobs and in the different relationships we have. Interesting that our relationships, influence our ability to visualize and imagine. But we all have that ability. So tap into that. Do it today. If you don't regularly visualize or imagine things, practice this. Commit to yourself, hey, for a minute a day for the next 7 days. And that is really all it will take. Because all of a sudden you'll say, okay, I'm doing it for a minute. And then all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, I did it for 5 minutes. I imagined what I wanted in detail with my feelings and my emotions and all my different senses. And it was 15 minutes went by before you even realize it. Because it's actually really fun to pre-plan, pre-frame, and imagine how awesome your life's going to be when you create the things that you want. Any questions, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow for our relationship A, or our relationship action. A is for action in our SOAP framework. What are we going to do? We're going to analyze our options from today, right? That's why we want at least 10. We're going to share 3, and we're going to analyze 3. I'll share a tool with you to do the analysis on that. It's one of my favorites. And we'll be with you tomorrow. Any questions, ask. Otherwise, have an awesome day. Have fun with this. Visualization, imagination, imaginary friends, relationships. They're supposed to make us feel good, and they're supposed to be fun. All right, have a great day. Catch you tomorrow. Bye.